The ship that stopped the world is a reminder of our fragile connectivity. In the dance of global trade, there is no room for error. 400 meters of steel, wedged tight, the Suez Canal, the world's most vital shortcut, is suddenly and completely severed from the ocean. Behind it, a traffic jam of epic proportions begins to grow. Billions of dollars in cargo sit idle as the minutes tick away. This is the story of 6 days that shook the global economy, a battle against physics, and the ultimate test of human engineering. To understand the crisis, we must understand the canal. Since 1869, this man-made artery has connected the east to the west via Egypt. 12% of all global trade passes through these waters. It is the lifeblood of energy, electronics, and the modern consumer world. The alternative is the Cape of Good Hope, a detour that adds 9,000 kilometers and 2 weeks of expensive, treacherous sailing. For over a century, the Suez has been the ultimate strategic prize. But in 2021, the canal met its match in a new behemoth. The Ever Given is a Golden-class container ship. At 400 meters long, it is longer than the Eiffel Tower is tall. It can carry over 20,000 containers. Each box represents a piece of a global puzzle, from car parts to medical supplies. Its sheer mass is staggering. Displacing 220,000 tons, it is a floating city designed for maximum efficiency and profit. Powered by a massive 11-cylinder engine, it was built to dominate the seas. But in the narrow Suez, size becomes a dangerous liability. Early on March 23rd, the Ever Given began its transit. It was the 13th ship in a northbound convoy heading toward the Mediterranean. The mood on the bridge was routine. 2 local pilots had boarded to guide the giant through the canal's notoriously tight turns. Canal pilots are experts, but even they are at the mercy of the elements. On this day, the weather was about to turn. For the first few miles, the transit was perfect. But as they entered the narrowest section, the wind began to howl from the south. Nature intervenes. High winds and a blinding sandstorm buffet the ship's massive profile, creating a sail effect that pushes the vessel off course. This is the bank effect.
As the ship nears the side, water is squeezed, creating a pressure imbalance that sucks the stern into the bank.
Desperate to correct the drift, the crew increases speed. But this triggers the squat effect, pulling the massive hull deeper into the shallow water. Control is lost. The momentum of 200,000 tons is unstoppable. The Ever Given is no longer a ship, it is a projectile. Impact. The bow buries itself 5 meters deep into the hard Egyptian sand. The stern swings around, locking the ship across the entire channel. Silence falls on the bridge. The realization of what has happened begins to sink in. They are stuck, and the world is watching. Below decks, the crew checks for damage. Remarkably, the hull holds, but the ship is paralyzed. The Suez Canal is officially closed. The first responders arrive. Small tugs attempt to nudge the giant, but it doesn't budge. This will not be an easy fix. The ripple effect is instantaneous. In London, Paris, and New York, the just-in-time supply chain begins to fracture and fail. Ports across the globe grind to a halt. With no ships arriving from the east, the flow of goods evaporates, costing billions every hour. Energy markets panic. Oil prices surge, as tankers carrying millions of barrels of crude are trapped in the growing queue of ships. From microchips to car parts, the world's manufacturing heart skips a beat. A stark reminder of how dependent we are on this narrow passage. The battle begins. To free the bow, 27,000 cubic meters of sand must be removed. The dredger Mashour becomes the star of the show. The tugboat Baraka 1 leads a fleet of 14 vessels. They pull with everything they have, coordinated by the world's best salvage masters. Engineers work to lighten the load, pumping out thousands of tons of ballast water while praying they don't need to unload the containers. Then, a gift from the heavens. A supermoon brings a king tide, raising the water level and providing the extra lift needed for freedom. Success. On the 6th day, the giant is freed. The cheers of the salvage crews echo across the desert as the blockage ends. The Ever Given is moved to the Great Bitter Lake for inspection. A months-long investigation begins to determine who is at fault. Lessons were learned. Today, the Suez Canal Authority is widening and deepening the channel to ensure this never happens again. The ship that stopped the world is a reminder of our fragile connectivity. In the dance of global trade, there is no room for error.